Hi friends, welcome to our channel. What you are about to see is a mother duck guiding her ducklings in the rain. This is an example of what it means to be calm under pressure. We can see how the mother duck keeps her cool despite the pouring rain, and how she successfully manages to lead her children to safety. There's no panicking or rushing about. Instead, the duck remains level-headed and ensures all her ducklings follow her closely. She even shows them exactly where to go so they don't stray too far from the path. The duck also makes sure to stay close to her children so she can protect them if anything goes wrong. This is an incredible display of animal parenting, and it reminds us that no matter how difficult the situation may seem, we should always try our best to remain calm and in control. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Mother ducks are known for their bravery, and this one was no exception. Despite the pouring rain, she knew that her babies needed to get out of the water and into the safety of the bushes. So, without hesitation, she got up and started leading the way. The little ducklings followed close behind her, quacking all the way, and although some of them got tired, she kept encouraging them to keep going. After a while, they finally reached the bushes, and the mother duck let out a loud quack to let her babies know that they were safe at last. The ducklings snuggled up to each other and their mom, feeling grateful to be alive. They had been through a lot, but thanks to their brave mother, they had made it. The mother duck watched over her young with a fierce protectiveness. Even though the downpour showed no signs of letting up, she wasn't about to let that stop her from getting her babies to safety. As the first fat raindrops began to fall, she knew she had to act fast. Gently nudging her ducklings, she guided them away from the dangerous current and towards higher ground. Although the rain came down in torrents, she remained calm, knowing that her quick reactions would keep her young safe. As she led them through the storm, she could hear the terrified quacks of the ducklings echoing around her, but she pressed on, determined to get them to shelter. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached a patch of land that was high enough to avoid the rising water. With a relieved sigh, the mother duck watched as her ducklings huddled together, safe and sound. As the rain continued to pour down in sheets, the mother duck knew she had to act fast. If she didn't get her ducklings out of the water, they could easily become disoriented and swept away by the current. With a loud quack, she gathered her attention, urging them to follow her towards the safety of the bushes. Although the ducklings were scared and unsure, they trusted their mother's instincts and waddled behind her as she made her way through the tall grass. As the water rose, the mother duck continued to lead the way, her heart pounding in her chest. She could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on her, knowing that the safety of her ducklings depended on her. Suddenly, one of the ducklings slipped and fell, its tiny body disappearing under the murky water. Without hesitation, the mother duck dove in, her strong wings propelling her through the water. She quickly grabbed the fallen duckling in her beak and resurfaced, coughing and spluttering. With a sharp quack, she scolded the rest of the ducklings, reminding them to be more careful. Then, with all 10 ducklings safely following her, the mother duck continued on her way. The rain showed no signs of stopping, but with each step, she grew more confident that she would get them to safety. Even when the going got tough, the mother duck didn't panic. She knew that if she did, her ducklings would sense her fear and become even more scared. Instead, she forced herself to remain calm, her every move exuding confidence and control. The ducklings looked up at their mother, taking cues from her every quack and gesture. Seeing her unwavering determination, they gained strength from her presence and followed her lead. Together, they faced the challenges that came their way, the mother duck's composure guiding her ducklings through the storm. It was clear that the mother duck was not going to let anything stand in the way of her protecting her young. She knew that the heavy rain could easily knock the small ducklings off their feet, making it difficult for them to keep up with her. But she was determined to make sure that each and every one of them made it to safety. With a gentle nudge of her head, she encouraged the stragglers to hurry up, her eyes filled with urgency. The mother duck's determination was clear, and her ducklings responded accordingly. Even when the rain seemed like it would never stop, they knew they could count on their mother to lead them through the storm. As the rain intensified, The mother duck knew she had to act fast. If she didn't get her ducklings out of the open field, they could become exhausted and vulnerable to predators. With a loud quack, she urged her ducklings to follow her, her voice echoing across the wet grass. The ducklings, though scared and drenched, knew that their mother was right. They had to keep moving if they wanted to stay safe. As they waddled along, the mother duck kept a close eye on them, making sure no one lagged behind. She knew that each of her ducklings was counting on her to protect them, and she wasn't about to let them down. Despite the challenging conditions, the mother duck refused to give up. She knew that if she did, her ducklings would follow her lead and become even more disoriented and helpless. So she pressed on, her strong legs carrying her over the uneven terrain, her eyes never leaving the path ahead. The ducklings, though exhausted, took their lead from their mother. They struggled to keep up with her pace, but they knew that staying close to her was the only way to stay safe. The mother duck's determination paid off. As the rain began to subside and the clouds parted, she could see the safety of the bushes in the distance. With a renewed burst of energy, she led her ducklings toward the shelter, her heart pounding in her chest. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the bushes. The mother duck let out a loud quack, her voice filled with relief. She had done it. She had protected her young and guided them to safety. The ducklings, too, were filled with a sense of accomplishment as they snuggled up to their mother, their little bodies trembling with exhaustion. But the mother duck knew that her job was not yet done. The rain had stopped, but the danger was not over. The rising water could still pose a threat to her ducklings, and she had to make sure they were safe and dry before she could rest. With a gentle nudge, she urged them to move closer to the bushes, shielding them from the wind. Then, with her body, she began to groom her ducklings, her rough tongue licking away the dirt and debris that had accumulated on their feathers. As she worked, she kept a close eye on her surroundings, always ready to protect her young from any potential danger. And as the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the field, the mother duck knew that her ordeal was finally over. She had successfully led her ducklings to safety, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride as she looked down at her tired but unharmed babies. The experience had been terrifying, but it had also been a reminder of the strength and resilience of Mother Nature. The mother duck had faced the storm head-on, never giving up hope that she would get her ducklings to safety, and in doing so she had passed on to them the most important lesson of all, that no matter how tough things get, you should never, ever give up. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. We have some amazing videos coming up.